And that's how I look at it. What makes him get more respect than me? You my next door neighbor, you know what I tell him? You got yours from your family. I got mine from the ground up, from hard work and dedication.
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest ever. He's a brilliant defensive fighter. His speed, his boxing savvy. He's just a savant. He's just something special, no question about it. But I gotta look at the Sugar Ray Leonards of the world.
Floyd's way is safe. Not in a punk, but it's like the safe way, like nothing ain't gonna go wrong. But that's how he fight. That's his.
Floyd Mayweather has erupted after Stephen A. Smith downplayed his legacy, suggesting Terence Crawford could actually beat him. Stephen A. argued that Mayweather is not the greatest fighter ever, despite Floyd's own claims, insisting Sugar Ray Leonard stood on a far higher level. He went further, saying Floyd's best victories came at lightweight and that he never truly dominated the higher weight divisions. Smith even brushed off the Canelo win as nothing extraordinary. Those remarks have sparked outrage from Mayweather, who refuses to let such sharp criticism pass without firing back in defense of his name and legacy.
Just about your skill set. It's who you do it against.
Your level of competition. Is it possible that he's so far beyond his level of competition that he made it look easy?
Well, I think he did as a lightweight. When he went up to the welterweight division, not so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
I mean, taking out Canelo the way he took out.
Well, he just gave him a boxing lesson, but Canelo was 22 years old. See, I remember
That's an excuse, though. I don't like this, like he's 22, he's too young.
I will tell you this. Well, you know, you do have to take that into consideration.
The guy had 100 fights.
Well, let me explain.
At 22.
You have to take that into consideration when boxing is the issue. Now, if he got knocked on his ass, that's different. But when he simply got schooled, when you swinging a punch and Floyd is tapping you on your shoulder saying, I'm behind you, that's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a skill, like, you know,
But we could credit Floyd with that.
Of course, I am crediting. I'm saying he's a brilliant boxer. You know, Floyd knew how to move before you even threw the damn punch. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a veteran to know how to overcome that. You can't put a novice into the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather. You understand? He's going to school you. What I'm saying to you is that if you want to make an argument on Floyd Money Mayweather's half, which I'm not summarily dismissing, I would tell you it's this. Floyd Money Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand. He constantly broke his hand.
He constantly battled hand injuries. Daoud Bey delivered a deep analysis comparing Floyd Mayweather with Terence Crawford, especially in light of Crawford's stunning performance against Canelo Alvarez. Bey admitted that as a fan, he leaned slightly toward Crawford in a dream matchup, but stressed the importance of balance. Crawford's win over Canelo was extraordinary, and many quickly rushed to say it surpassed anything Floyd had ever done. Yet Bey reminded everyone that Mayweather had also dominated Canelo, only at a stage when the young star was still developing as a fighter. He emphasized that dismissing Floyd's greatness in favor of Crawford is simply not accurate, because both men brought something rare and unique to boxing's story. For Bey, the truth rests somewhere in the middle. Crawford deserves immense credit for dismantling Canelo so commandingly, but Mayweather's masterful performance against him was equally historic and deserves to be remembered with the same respect.
Bud goes about it a little bit better than Floyd in this sense. Floyd will, like, when Floyd fought Canelo, he was standing right there. He wasn't running and all of that. He wasn't doing all of the stuff that they say, oh, runner, Mayweather's a runner. He wasn't doing that versus Canelo. He was right there. And I can't even really remember Canelo catching him like that, like with nothing. With Bud, I could remember Canelo catching Bud a couple times, but Bud, like, gave him the, all right, put your foot out, what's up? Boxing turn, boxing turn, boxing turn. Like, and was like really standing there and like giving it to him with another type of energy. It was, the energy is more so like, all right, what's up? Like, you can't beat me. Floyd energy be like, bop, bop, I'm better than you. You see what I'm saying? They don't really be respecting that all the time. They'll acknowledge it like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, he hard to catch. But they be like, nah, you didn't beat me up. Bud go about his fights in a way where as though the Mexican fan base gotta be like, I ain't gonna lie, Canelo, he hollered at you. Like, he came at you too. He didn't just be better than you. He was better, and then he was like, all right, I'm gonna come at you. And I think they really respect that. Shit, I respect it. I don't think it's not. I think the less you get hit, the better. I'm always going to take it that way. So, you know what I'm saying? As a boxing fan, the kind of boxing fan that I am, I would have leaned towards Floyd's performance, but Bud's performance was like, if I'm a casual fan, I'd rather watch the way Bud do.
Trainer Boozy Ennis spoke with fire about Terence Crawford's place in boxing. He answered critics who questioned Crawford's legacy, insisting the fighter has proven time and again that he belongs among the greatest of his generation. Ennis pointed to Crawford's willingness to take chances against anyone, stressing that he never backed away from danger, no matter the risk. In Ennis's eyes, Crawford thrives when tested. That hunger to face danger is what sets him apart from so many of his peers. Where others might avoid the hardest challenges, Crawford sought them out, chasing greatness instead of comfort. By consistently stepping into the ring against the best, Crawford carved his name into the sport's highest tier. Ennis urged fans and analysts alike to stop trying to minimize those achievements. Instead, he said, the world should recognize the rare fighters standing before them. Versatile, daring, fearless, and successful in ways that few in history have ever managed to be.
I think he could have got the stoppage. He'll tell you that if he had to sit down a little bit more. But I tell you, Terence can fight and he can box. And he can fight. He'll fight this side. He take chances, man. You know what I mean? And that's how you be great, man. He one of the greatest out there now. I think he's great. I think he's the best out there right now in that division. You know what I mean?
What's left?
For Terence?
Yeah.
If I was Terence, I would retire. That's what I would do. He did everything, man. He done everything, man. You know what I mean? You know how many titles he don't want? All that stuff, you know what I mean? I think I'll go off one in the sunset, man. You know what I mean? You don't need no more money. You know what I mean?
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomack McIntyre, believes his fighter still has more chapters to write. According to him, Crawford could lace up the gloves for 2 or 3 more major fights before even thinking about retirement. Bomack floated the possibility of Crawford moving up to 160 pounds, not simply to chase another belt, but to pursue a statement of legacy, one that is already cemented in Hall of Fame stone. He reminded fans that Crawford has already carved history, becoming undisputed in multiple divisions and stacking groundbreaking victories that few ever achieve. Still, the thought of adding more championships, higher up in weight, carries an electricity that fuels both the team and the fans. Bomack emphasized that at this stage, Crawford is no longer hunting for validation. The legacy is there. The greatness is secure. Now he's aiming to push even further, taking the kinds of chances only the rarest of fighters dare to attempt. Risks reserved for legends.
The second time. They can't take it away from him either.
Does this one mean more to you than the other ones?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It gives us the opportunity as a team to go into the Hall of Fame. Instead of a fighter going in there, instead of a coach going in there, it gives us a better chance of going there as a team.
Well, congrats on that. I know that means a lot to you and the team.
Definitely that.
You know, I asked Bud this after the fight 2 weeks ago. Would he consider this his signature win? He said, yeah, one of them. Do you think that was his signature win of his career?
Well, the last fight?
Yeah, the Canelo one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the underdog. Everybody thought that, you know, he was going to get beat.
What's up?
That he was going to get beat. Surprised me.
So what's next for Bud? What do you want to see him do?
I just want to see him, you know, spend time with his family because, you know, training for a fight, you be gone a long time. You're going away from your family. And it could take a toll on you after a while. So,
as his trainer, do you feel like he should just sail off into the sunset after this monumental
well,
win?
you know what? They made it look so easy. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit, got 2-3 more in him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Training camp will try harder.
Yeah.
You know?
Timothy Bradley offered heartfelt words about Terence Crawford's influence on the sport. He explained that young fighters often wrestle with doubt, especially when critics dismiss their progress. Crawford, however, became living proof of what perseverance and determination can accomplish. From the early years, when skepticism shadowed his rise, Crawford silenced voices with every performance inside the ring. Bradley stressed how Crawford's journey became a beacon for the next generation, showing that impossible dreams could be realized as he climbed division after division to become a multiple-time undisputed champion. To Bradley, Crawford's story represents more than victories on a scorecard. It represents belief, resilience, and the courage to rise in the face of doubt. Now, young fighters don't just see Crawford as champion. They see him as a model of what it means to keep fighting, keep pushing, and never give up.
Man, you have become. You're a true inspiration to the youth, man. Anybody that's troubled, any troubled kid out there, man, they can look at you and say, hey, man, I got a fighting chance to get myself out the situation. All I got to do is make that choice. That's what you did, Crawford. You made that choice, man. You made that choice to change, bro. You know, you saw going down, man, years ago, man, in 2008, man, when that bullet came through that window, you knew you had to do something or you'll end up 6 feet under, bro. You know, so that courage that you had, man, and that will that you had and that mindset of change, man, and the gym, you know, grooming you and turning you into a man, because that's what boxing does. See, people don't understand, man, that boxing is more than just throwing punches. You know, boxing teaches you discipline. You know, it teaches you love for people, love for others, man. You know, working together. You know, you're there constantly every single day, man. You know, spending time there perfecting a craft, man. Perfecting yourself, understanding yourself, learning more about yourself each and every single day. You push it inside the gym. You know, boxing is more than just throwing punches, man. You know.
Floyd Mayweather's journey transcended the sport of boxing. As Oladipo described, Mayweather carefully crafted two personas, Pretty Boy Floyd and Money Mayweather, each capturing the public's imagination in different eras. In his early days, Pretty Boy Floyd was the fearless risk-taker, delivering highlight reel knockouts and chasing greatness without hesitation. Later, Money Mayweather emerged, the ultimate businessman who mastered defense, perfected timing, and transformed every bout into a global spectacle. His unprecedented pay-per-view dominance and self-promotion turned him into more than an athlete. He became an industry unto himself. Oladipo credited Floyd's genius not just in the ring, but also in building a business model that modern boxers still try to emulate. By blending technical brilliance with showmanship, Mayweather became more than a fighter. He became a cultural icon and the architect of boxing's modern economic era.
I'm sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking. I watch the whole fucking episodes and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then. And I get it. I get it. Right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm going to work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm going to work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh, shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had, obviously, the fights, right?
Despite Crawford's stunning victory over Canelo, debate has erupted about what comes next. Some insiders, including members of his own team, suggest that he should consider retirement now, walking away at the peak to protect a legacy already cemented in history. Supporters argue that Crawford has achieved everything a fighter could dream of and has nothing left to prove. Yet, others inside the sport remain unsatisfied. Critics downplay his win and insist he should step aside before time chips away at his reputation. The tension is clear. Has Crawford done enough to close the book? Or is there still another chapter to be written? His recent performances show no decline, and fans are hungry for more. Retirement is an option, but whether he continues or not, Crawford's place among the all-time greats is already undeniable.
The fact that Terence Crawford did what he did against Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford made himself the face of boxing, and he made it look easy. He made the Errol Spence fight look easy. That was supposed to be the toughest test of his career. I thought it was. The whole world thought it was. It was the easiest fight he had at welterweight. I thought, but I've been saying for years that he's gonna easily beat Canelo Alvarez, and he did. But many people expected Canelo to knock him out. That wasn't the case. With that said, now people are trying to throw. He's 38. Tomorrow, Terence Crawford will be 38 years old. He's a 5-division champion. If he wants to stick around, like Terence Crawford stated, okay, Terence Crawford stated, if I do stick around, I'm not dropping down no further than 160 pounds. If he stays in boxing, I say he have 2 more fights. Fight Janibek, who's the unified champion. Hopefully Carlos Adames and Lara fight and unify the belts. 2 fights at 160, pad the stats, become a 6-division champion and a 4-division undisputed champion. Cool. Other than that, Terence Crawford needs to retire.
Trainer Robert Garcia added his voice to the heated Mayweather versus Crawford debate. He reminded fans that while Mayweather's spotless record and career success are unmatched, he never claimed the status of undisputed champion, something both Crawford and Pacquiao proudly achieved. Garcia acknowledged the historical weight of Crawford's resume, but when pressed to choose, he leaned toward Mayweather. In his eyes, Floyd's defense, timing, and intelligence inside the ring would be overwhelming, even for a fighter as gifted as Crawford. To Garcia, Mayweather's uncanny ability to shut opponents down made him a nightmare matchup. And while he deeply respects everything Crawford has accomplished, Garcia believes that Floyd's mastery of fundamentals and ring strategy still sets him above almost anyone, even today's champions.
Man, he doesn't need it anymore.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions undisputed, is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more. Pacquiao was 8 divisions, so we have to, we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5-division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done.
Trainer Greg Hackett added another sharp perspective to the debate, focusing on how both men handled Canelo Alvarez. In his view, when Mayweather fought Canelo, Floyd was already the finished product, polished, poised, and nearly untouchable. Hackett argued that Crawford's style leans more on aggression and adaptability, but it doesn't carry the flawless precision Floyd showcased for 12 rounds. To him, Mayweather's defensive mastery and complete ring control remain unmatched. Crawford may be explosive, Hackett admitted, but Floyd's calculated brilliance against Canelo represented something closer to perfection. On the other hand, Stephen A. Smith applauded Crawford's victory as one of the most entertaining performances in recent years. He highlighted that Crawford, the smaller man moving up against a stronger opponent, made the fight look shockingly one-sided. For Smith, that wasn't just skill, it was theater. He praised Crawford for blending technical mastery with excitement, proving he isn't just a champion, but a showman who can carry boxing forward with memorable, electrifying moments.
But the biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all.
Veteran journalist Dan Raphael offered a long view on Crawford's remarkable career. In his eyes, Terence no longer needs to step into the ring just to validate his place in boxing history. The record already speaks, undisputed in multiple divisions, victories against elite names, and a reputation for pure dominance. Rafael explained that once a fighter climbs to this rare height, the mission shifts. It's no longer about proving yourself, but about protecting the legacy you've created. Chasing fights that aren't necessary, he warned, could risk dimming the brilliance of what Crawford has already achieved. Instead, he believes this is the moment to embrace recognition, to stand as one of boxing's greatest achievers. With a resume stacked with historic milestones, Crawford's legend is already secure. Whether he chooses to fight again or quietly walk away, history will remember him.
You'd expect, but he stood in the pocket, like he's not moving anywhere from him. He's using his head moving. He's not being stupid, but he's not necessarily moving away from Canelo. Like you said, he's walking the, quote unquote, bigger man down and forcing the action rather than going off, reacting to Canelo's attacks. So I think it was such an impressive display. But it sort of begs the question now, when you've a 3-time undisputed champion. I know money's important, financials, we always talk about that. His legacy is intact regardless. We'll start with Terence. What does a Terence Crawford do now? Like, what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance if he goes up again? And do you say, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made 2 things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down in weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fan. So yeah. I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, yeah. But I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy is really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he can either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight. And
that's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the sport we love. Until next time, keep your guard up, and we'll catch you in the next round.